Howdy, folks. I'm Redacted.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. All right. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for insisting that my boyfriend pay me for breaking a $3,500 model ship? I'm a 33-year-old female, and my dad passed away and left me one of his last and favorite model ships. I had it on display in my living room. But for some reason, I never actually mentioned it to my boyfriend, a 37-year-old male of 6 months. Maybe because we don't live together and he doesn't visit that often. Well, the other day, he and his friends came over to my place to celebrate his birthday. They got drunk and started throwing the sofas and
They're throwing sofas at people
they started throwing sofas at each other, and it was a mess.
because they're all superheroes.
The OP is married to a superhero. When she says model ship, it's a scale 1-to-1 model ship. They got drunk and started throwing sofa pillows at each other. I told them to stop and then went into the kitchen to clean up. I then started hearing loud noises. I walked out of the kitchen and saw my model ship in my boyfriend's hands. I'm sure OP was having a heart attack at this point in time. I rushed to get it, but he passed it on to one of his friends. And then his friend passed it to one of the other friends. Oh, so you're dating a middle schooler.
A 37-year-old middle schooler, yeah.
I started running around trying to catch it while yelling at them to stop. Then my boyfriend grabbed it again. I was so angry, I told him to hand it over, but he said that I needed to kiss him first. I yelled at him and he tried to throw it to his friend who tried to catch it, but it missed and hit a wall and broke. That is not a good situation.
No.
I lost it. I kicked all of it. I wonder why you lost it. I kicked out all of his friends right then and had a fight with him, telling him it was a huge sentimental item from my dad and demanded that he pay me $3,500 because this is how much it cost. He then left and called me in the morning and asked if I was serious about wanting $3,500, and I said I was dead serious. He started making excuses saying that he was drunk. And also, I never told him about this ship and how important it was for me before, both monetarily and sentimentally, that is. We had another fight and then I hung up on him upon telling him that I expected the $3,500 and that I wasn't afraid to take the legal route if I have to. He kept texting me saying to let it go, saying it was cruel of me to threaten him with the law. How dare you threaten me with the consequences of my actions? He and his friends apologized, thinking that this would be it, but I insisted that he pay me. I get that he might have gotten worked up over the item and treated my boyfriend badly, but to me, it seemed like a reckless thing on his part. Am I the jerk?
No, not the jerk.
Why, Amber, would you think so, Amber?
I mean, I love how he's trying to pin this on OP. Like, this is on you. You didn't tell me how important this ship was, as if it's normal to just go into people's home and grab their less monetarily and sentimentally valuable stuff
Yeah,
and start hurling it at people.
I agree here with Amber. Usually what the first thing that I do when I go into someone's house is I scope out something that might look rare or valuable, and then I start playing a game of toss with it because, like, how else are you supposed to, like, live on the edge if you aren't tossing people's expensive items around?
You know. Like, I mean, he is 37 years old.
I mean, yeah, exactly. 37 years old. He knows better than to do this.
And he's like, well, I was drunk. Well, if you know when you get drunk, you throw people's stuff around, then, like, don't drink. Like, he made a conscious choice to drink.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the actions he takes when drunk.
Exactly. If you drink, then you have to be responsible for your actions. Plain and simple. You don't get to make the excuse of, oh, well, drunk me just didn't know any better. I call BS on that.
Yeah, drunk you is not a separate person.
Drunk you, okay, then get drunk and go to court. And,
drunk you can face the charges.
Yeah, drunk you can face the charges. This is Brian's Bad Advice. Yeah. Brought to you by Brian's Bad Advice. If you ever need to get into serious legal trouble, follow Brian's Bad Advice.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for not wanting my husband to go see Batman when our baby is due?
Yes.
No.
Batman is the most important thing ever.
No. We're going to ignore Brian. I'm a 25-year-old female. My husband's a 28-year-old male, and he and I are expecting a baby. As you may know, there is a new Batman movie releasing in early March. My husband is a big fan of that kind of stuff and wants to see it opening day. The issue is that our estimated due date is exactly on that day. I know that only a fraction of babies are actually born on the exact due day, but I have always been very regular on my periods, and I have a feeling that I may be one of those cases. He says it is important to see this movie the first day because of spoilers, and that even if I end up having the baby that day while he is watching the movie, at worst he would arrive a few hours late. It is not such a big deal. He says,
Oh my goodness.
I am being irrational and emotional because of being pregnant. I am upset because I feel deprioritized by him. Am I the jerk?
Opie is being deprioritized
Yeah,
by him.
like,
He's
okay.
literally deprioritized. He's like, hey, babe, Batman. That's all I have to say is Batman. I need to see it. There's going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
We all know how we
Like,
all know that the world is full of the internet and spoilers.
yeah, so Opie is 100% not the jerk here. And like he is telling you how much he values you right now, OP. Like he is less concerned about shepherding you through a very emotionally and physically trying time and seeing the birth of his new child than he is about like he has so much more concern for the new Batman movie. Like how hard would it be to go a couple days without, reading spoilers?
You know what I love about this letter right here? What I love about this letter is that he's like, but hon, it would only be for a couple of hours, and then I would be right back
I know,
there.
that's the part that baffles me. It's not even like he was like, well, I'll only go if you're not in labor, like, which still would be if you, because you could go into labor at any point. He's like, well, does it matter if you're in labor? Like, I'm only gonna miss a few hours of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I'll
gonna.
probably be there when the baby comes out. That's all that matters, right?
Well, and to be fair, like, not that I'm arguing his point. It does sometimes. People are in labor for like hours
Yeah, but
or even a whole
they
day.
probably want their support person the whole
Oh,
time.
I know. I mean, I think that this is like a very reasonable thing for OP to want.
Yeah.
OP wants their husband to be there, and like,
Although you may want to choose a better support person if he's gonna spend the whole time sulking about Batman.
Yeah, I can imagine it now. While she's like in labor, like in extraordinary pain, he bursts through the door and he's like, "Hun, you won't believe the new Batman movie. It was so great.
Yeah.
It was the best thing ever. Where have you been? Oh, I've just been watching Batman. I told you where I was going to be." $5, says this guy, actually goes to watch Batman anyways. What do you think?
I hope not, but you can't put it past people.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I also like how he's like, you're being irrational because of your hormones. It's like, no reasonable person would see prioritizing a movie over their partner's well-being as like an acceptable thing.
yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to March when we get another letter from this same person who's like, am I the jerk for getting mad at my husband for missing my birth by going and watching Batman? That's gonna happen. It might not. Hopefully
Hopefully it doesn't happen, but
we'll see.
We'll see.
Amber, keep your eyes out for that update.
I will.
All right.
Tea time.
It's tea time. Amber and I have the same tea today.
You'll probably know immediately what it is.
Yeah, it's usually pretty obvious when I say we have both the same thing. So yeah, this is also Amber's Wordle board is on the bottom today.
Yes.
She wanted to share her results, and I was like, fine, whatever, Amber, go ahead, share your results.
I just thought it was fun. If we were doing tea time, we could both include our Wordles.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. So, as you can see, we both did it in 3 today. We had very different little schemas here.
Yeah.
So let me know how you did in Wordle today. All right. Well, before we move along, why don't we find a super silly riddle? All right, Amber, are you ready for this joke?
Yes.
What part of a fish weighs the most?
What part?
Its scales.
So funny.
Oh my goodness. A very silly joke. A very silly joke indeed. So, what did you do today, Amber?
I have been reading about vampires lately.
Oh, Amber's been reading about vampires.
Yes.
Do tell.
I finished the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires yesterday, and now I'm reading Interview with a Vampire. That's my book club read this month, or this quarter. So I did that. I edited and Disney bound it. I'm still wearing my Disney bound today, although you can't really see it. I have some of my pieces here, but got a necklace on. It's a book and some glasses. An old looking book. So see if you can guess who I am. I also have a khaki skirt on. Well, all green
All
khaki-ish
green, khaki, kind of.
type of thing.
All right, folks. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for holding a get together at my girlfriend's apartment? Seems to be a common theme today, eh? I'm a 19-year-old and my girlfriend is 26. The relationship is going well, or was. She's sweet and cute and we have fun together. It bums me out when she has to travel for work because then she'll be gone for days and days and it's just awful. Well, this past Thursday, I had the idea of getting together with some friends at my girlfriend's apartment. She was out of town, and she usually comes back on Thursday nights, though, and she gave me a key, mainly in case of me needing to print something last minute or other quick things like that.
So not holding parties.
Yeah, not holding parties. Like, literally, she gave you a key to print stuff off, and then you were like, huh, party. This is like the classic teenager whose parents leave for the weekend, except for they don't live there. So a few people come to the apartment and we're breaking stuff. Wait, what?
We weren't.
Oh, we weren't breaking stuff. I thought that was a weird admission right there.
Yeah.
Just having a good time. Because it wasn't out of hand and because it was only a few people, I didn't give her a heads up. I figured if she comes home and there are people there, people that she knows, it'll be fine. If she comes home after they leave, cool. She comes home, everyone else senses an eruption and leaves. What? What a weird word to choose here, an eruption. She called me a jerk for using her apartment, and as she said it, party central, and tells me that I lack maturity and respect. I offered to help with the cleanup, which I was going to do regardless. Well, good that you were going to. Though you shouldn't have offered, just been like, I'm gonna clean up now, I'm sorry. But she kicked me out. But not before telling me that I need to learn better decision making. maybe she has a point there, OP. My case to her was that this is never going to be some wild ranger with broken TVs and smashed tables. It was just a hangout. I was going to clean things up. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna say OP is a jerk. Like, why are you throwing a party in a place that you don't own or live in?
Yeah, well, the real question here is like, he doesn't live here, right?
Right.
And he didn't ask for permission. Like,
Yeah.
if he had, been like given her a heads up and said, hey, I want to hold a party on X and Y date. Can I use your apartment? She could have had the option to say yes or no, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't a mutual shared space that they both live in and both pay rent. This was just OP basically using her space without her permission.
Yeah.
And what a huge invasion of privacy to have like people in your home without your permission.
Right. And like, who knows where they're gonna go in your house? Like, you're not there to supervise them or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know he feels like it's a minor thing, but this isn't your space. You don't have the right to use someone else's space just because you have a key to their house.
Yeah.
Like, she gave the key to you as like a, hey, you can do quick things like print things, not as a, use my space however you want.
Yeah. Please make yourself at home, as much home as possible.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for quietly leaving my boyfriend's family Christmas when his mom was trying to set him up with the next door neighbor in front of me?
Yes.
No.
How could you possibly leave a Christmas celebration under those circumstances?
I visited my boyfriend's family for the first time and it was so awkward. I was literally just sitting there at dinner and his mom starts talking about how the new neighbor girl is single and pretty and a good Christian and she was going to invite her to New Year's. I was sitting there like, WTF. It felt like she was trying to put me in my place or something. And despite my boyfriend declining, he was being very unassertive about it when I would have been saying, what the absolute F are you saying, Mom, in his shoes? So I got up, got my casserole, cake, pie, and wine from the kitchen, and headed out. Drove home to my place and texted my boyfriend, not here for this reality dating show drama, LOL. Is your mom always like this? He asked me where I was, and I said I'd headed out. I'm not into trashy reality TV drama vibe. He asked where, and I said I went home. He said he didn't want me to spend Christmas alone, and I said, come by then. And he felt conflicted because his family was already tense after they realized I'd left with my cooking and the dessert. I said, come by or don't, just tell me when you figure it out. But then I ate a bunch of casserole and cake, drank a lot of wine, and fell asleep. My boyfriend was texting and calling a lot when I was asleep, but I missed it all. He had apparently decided to leave the party and spend the night with me, but when I didn't answer, he ended up staying. The next day I asked him if he
Did he
saw.
not know how to get back to OP's house?
Apparently.
OP apparently lives on the moon. It's a very difficult trip to make.
The next day I asked him if he sorted things out with his mom so she doesn't go saying that stuff anymore. He'd said he wasn't interested when it was happening. I asked if he could have a serious talk after the fact because I was there when it was happening and I don't think she got it. He wasn't sure. So I just made other plans for New Year's because even though he'd invited me to his, I wanted a good time, not to be dealing with pettiness. My boyfriend was frustrated I dipped on New Year's too, and it's been an ongoing argument. I think he should have chewed out his mom on Christmas for being petty and weird. He thinks I shouldn't have ghosted with my food, especially because I'd brought a few big parts of the Christmas dinner. Am I the jerk for dipping on Christmas dinner?
You know, the mom in this situation is very much unreasonable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that the boyfriend was hopefully just trying to be diplomatic at the time, but I really think he should have, like, put an end to it, like, then and there.
Yes.
I mean, even if he didn't want to, like, say anything in front of people, he could have pulled her aside and said, listen, Ma, stop it.
Exactly. Like, he needed to be the one to put a stop to this. And you're right. Like, it's not everyone's comfortable, like, having a confrontation at the dinner table.
Yeah.
But he was at their house, ended up being there the whole night. He had time to pull her aside and say, Mom, I'm really upset with how you treated my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, she means a lot to me. And, you know, to act like she's just, like, can be thrown away and replaced is really hurtful. I'm not going to spend time around you if you act like that around her.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I certainly can understand, like, the mom kind of got what she wanted here.
Yeah.
I mean, more than anything, she did exactly what she intended on doing. And I think that was a bit of a disappointment here in that respect. And that, like, you know, the mom is basically like, she's 1 for 0, maybe 2 for 0 in that respect. And for New Year's, $5 says the nice, pretty girl next door came over for New Year's too. What do you think?
I mean, that sounds like it was the plan,
Yeah.
so.
So I think that, like, the mom knows what she's doing. The boyfriend isn't shutting this down, and since he did spend New Year's with the mom and all likelihood that neighbor, he's sending the wrong vibe. He's sending the wrong message, and this is really kind of what it boils down to. Like, if he had left on Christmas to follow his girlfriend, then the mom would have gotten the picture.
Right, but he's saying, like, it's okay for you to just push me around and shove relationships in my face, Mom. I'll just say,
I'll just
I'm not
deal.
interested. I'm just not.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm not interested. Oh, please stop. Don't do this, Mom. You sure sound like you're not interested. So yeah, I don't think OP's the jerk here.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I think that the mom and the boyfriend are probably jerks, especially
Well, and
the
I like
mom.
how his biggest concern is that she took some of their Christmas dinner. It's like,
Yeah.
why would she feed someone who is treating her like garbage?
Yeah, I mean, why? This isn't like wasn't at a certain point, like when someone insults you in your face, you aren't obligated to feed that person.
Yeah.
Like, you aren't obligated to share with that person. Like, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to. You can just leave. And that's what they did, right? And that's really unfortunate that I think it turned out this way, because it just sounds like he's not going to stand up to his mom, and I think this situation is just going to get worse over the years.
Yeah, well, it may be a good learning lesson for OP, though, about where he stands. I mean, he's showing his true colors.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks to Amber for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, consider giving us a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye. Oh, and if you're wondering what character I was, it's Milo Thatch.
Yeah. Did we ever say what tea we had?
I don't think we did. It's mint tea.
We had mint tea. I know the tea time break is over, but we had mint tea.
Yeah, so all your questions answered now.